Hello. Welcome to tonight's live stream. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay. Sometimes we tend to get a few gremlins in the work, so hopefully all is going well and you can hear me. I have got a bit of a croaky voice tonight, so huge apologies for that. If you are watching, please do pop a comment in either the live chat if you are live or in the comments box below. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're a new subscriber or you just found me. I love to, know where you're all from, where you're watching from. It's really cool. I can see Jane's here. Hi, Jane. Hopefully, please do let me know that you can hear me and see me. I'm going to presume that you can because you haven't said otherwise. I'm just going to minimize my screen a little bit so I can see everything that's going on. So tonight is the third of our kind of pre-Christmas full tutorials that I have done over on YouTube. Normally every Thursday at 8 p.m. I go live on Facebook, but we're trying something new in the run up to Christmas. I go live with a tip or tutorial over on there, but today and the last 2 weeks and next week I'm going to be live on YouTube doing these full tutorials rather than just tips. But of course, as we go along, I'm going to give you all the tips and everything that I can along the way. Please do feel free to ask questions, comment as we go along, especially if you're watching live, but even if you're watching after, do pop a comment in the box below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I can see Susan and Marion is here. Hi Emma, I'm from Cheshire and it's freezing. It's freezing here too. I bet it's colder in Cheshire. Hello from the Netherlands, from Marion. I bet it's very cold in the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. We really want to go back. Jane says, warmed up slightly this evening in Croydon, was -3, now -1. Yeah, freezing. I just don't want to take off my ski trousers at the minute. I'm wearing ski trousers on the school run. And then I'm just kind of tending to live in them because they're just so nice and warm. Hi, Sandra. Hi. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. So, like I say, today we're going to do a full tutorial. So after the live, I will try and chop this down so it's a little bit quicker to watch as well. So today I found my very first pencil case that I ever made. I don't know if you can see, but I graffitied on the front. I think I was about 14. It says freak with a PH because, you know, I was really cool. I do remember my brother being really into graffiti. I still love street art and graffiti. And I do remember, I think he might have drawn this or I definitely copied it from somewhere. And this was just regular Sharpies on there. It's really basic. There's no lining. Look, can you see all the stains? This was so loved. I do remember a pen leaking. Can you see that big stain there? Hi Hilary. Hi Elaine as well from Barnsley. So I thought it'd be really fun to remake this. I still have it full of all my pens. And I'd just forgotten about it. We were talking in the 77 Club, which you can find out details of that in the description below. We were talking in the 77 Club about the very first make, and I think it was Jacqueline, if you're watching, posted her first bag that she ever made, which was amazing. And then today I refound this and I was like, oh, this would be so cool if we remade this. It's also a super quick make and great for the tweens or the teens. Like, who doesn't need a pencil case? As you know, as you may know, if you follow Studio 77, I do love a pencil case or two. We've got the book cover pencil case or notebook cover, which is super popular. I know with Hilary, you've made quite a few of those, which are amazing. Shark pencil case, of course. We've got the Dino pencil case. Oh, hi, Tiffany from A Girl and Her Passport. Hi. So lots of pencil cases, love a pencil case. But this, I think this has to be one of the quickest ones to make. Great if you're a beginner, great if you want to churn out a few for, if you're doing craft fairs, that kind of thing, or you just need to make a last minute make. Great teacher gift as well. Right, so that's the pencil case that we're going to be doing. But before we get into that, I just want to show you the very next pattern that is coming into the 77 Club in January. So this has just today gone off to my testers. I've got about 8 testers, I think, on this round, and they are going to put the pattern completely through its paces, make sure that there's no typos, make sure I've got all the pattern pieces, measured out right. And it is called, it's called, I'll just do the magnet up, the no waste tote. Can you see that? So this bag is made out of a full half meter, not yards, we're doing it in meters I'm afraid, but half a meter of outer fabric and 3/4 of a meter of lining fabric, and you will use every scrap apart from the selvage edges, you know, the slithers, you might have to chop a bit off depending on the width of your fabric. You are going to use every single part of the fabric so there is no waste, hence the name. Inside, so you've got the slip pockets on the outside. You may notice, because of the nature of it being no waste, they kind of go in opposite directions where you may want normally to put them in the same direction. Does that make sense? But I think that adds to the charm. It makes it a little bit, it's not irregular, but it just makes it a bit different. We've got a zipper flap with a zipper pocket on the front, and then inside we have slip pockets, we have a key clip, and I forget who it was, it might have been Stacey, one of my club members, so she always likes to make a key clip, so I've added that in for you. I think it was Stacey. There's a cup holder as well in there, bit hard to see. Lots of pockets, super useful to just whip up and know that you're not going to have any waste as well, so it's a really sustainable pattern. So that's coming to the 77 Club in January, and then it will be released around about March into my shop. So that is that. Hilary says, love that bag, thank you. Elaine says, oh, gorgeous, thank you, so glad you love it. I'm all about sustainability, and although I'm a sewer and sometimes, you know, you do tend to hoard, but it's nice to use up your fabric. Always, you know, you've got to cut into those pretties sometimes, and being able to make something that you know that there's no waste is just a really nice feeling. You haven't, you know, you're not throwing anything away. Although, top tip, most charity shops have or will take scraps. So I keep all my scraps in a kind of IKEA bin, and then when I go to the charity shop, because I'm taking some other stuff, I just wrap it up, and they'll take any scraps, any condition, and then they recycle them and they get money. So it helps them, stops it going into landfill, all good. I think Tiffany says, I think the key leashes should be in every bag. Yeah, they should. Oh, hi Deb Callahan. Right, so we're going to jump into this project. I'm going to go to the overhead camera. I'm just going to pop that over there so that we are prepped. We do have to do a little bit of a jig around. Let me get that in order. You have to bear with me because obviously this is live, so sometimes things take a few seconds. It's going to be a bit of a mishmash at the minute. So I've got my supplies here. I've got my prototype as well. Just push that out of the way. I've got my supplies here. Now, the key thing in this project is going to be that you're going to want a long zipper. Okay, so I have just got, I think it's a couple of meters of zipper here, so zipper tape. You could use a pre-made zipper that's got a pull on it already, totally fine. You just want to make sure it's really nice and long for the way that we're doing this technique. So I wanted to start off with showing you, if you've never used zipper tape before and you're quite intrigued and you want to give it a go, I do have a video on my channel of how to put on zipper pulls. But I'm going to show you here, you don't need anything fancy, you don't need any fancy techniques, any fancy materials, tools, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm just going to see if I can do that. We will try and do that, and then you can see. No, I'll keep it that, sorry. Just wanted to make sure it's the right thing for you guys. Right, so I'm going to put this pull on the zipper. Oh, hi Alison, just found you. Oh, it's Faye, sorry. Hi Faye. So what you want to do is you're going to have your zipper tape. You want to just peel it open a little bit, and then on your zipper pull you've got 2 holes in one side and 1 hole in the other side. Now I've just realised, because this is a black zipper pull, that's not super helpful to see, but there's the larger hole there, and then the other side has got the 2 holes. The 2 holes is the side that we want. So we've opened up our zipper tape. You want to put one side in a little bit, so it's almost up to the top. And then you want to get the other side, give yourself a bit of slack, so you may need to open it a bit more. And then you want to sort of curl it up and push it in, and you can sort of feel a little click Doesn't matter that those two ends are not even. Then I'm going to put it on the table, put my fingers each side, and then give it a wiggle. Now this is always fun doing this on lives. I have done this, I go on Sewing Street about once a month, and I have done this a couple times on Sewing Street and it was fine. But you know, it's going to be typical, isn't it, that it's not fine today. But we will persevere. Right, so put that on there, give it a bit of a wiggle, and there we go. Just push against the table and you can pull that zipper on. Then what I like to do is pull it all the way onto the other end. 1 second, I can just see we have a gremlin. I think I have got rid of those. Right, some lovely comments. Goodbye. Right, so we pull it all the way to the other end, and can you see it's not perfect? That's totally fine. We're just going to open that up and that's going to even that out. So now we've got our zipper pull on, and then what I like to do is just feed those teeth in on that end. Oh, thank you, Tiffany, I see that you reported it. Feed the teeth in that end, and you can make sure that the teeth are nicely aligned. And now that's not perfect, so I'm just going to rejig it, because you just want to get, you don't have to do this bit, but actually we're going to be doing this a little bit in this project, so it's good to know. So you just want to feed those teeth in, and if you've got a nylon zip like this, which most of the zipper tapes are nylon, then that's not too hard to do. Okay, so we've got our zipper pull on our zipper. Excuse me, I am getting over a cold, so you'll have to excuse me coughing. Now, my first project that I did this with, my pencil case, which is here, I'll just remind you, is made out of an old pair of jeans. I don't know if you can tell. So I thought, it's really grubby, isn't it? I thought it would be really fun if we made our pencil case today out of an old pair of jeans. And I've had this in my scrap bin for the longest time, and can you see I've like stitched them up here. I've got a reel on my Instagram for how I did that, for how you can fix the worn areas in jeans and make them live a bit longer. So all I've done is I've cut off the crotch bit. So the crotch bit would be here. I'm just going to see if I can bring us back a little bit so you can see a bit more. So we've got a bit of a wider area. Okay. Oh, hi Dawn. Hi. Thank you. Yeah, I know you're a bit poorly as well, so you're getting over that. So then what you want to do is you want to cut off. Now you don't have to do this with jeans. You can do it as a whole piece. So I will show you, or explain to you, the sizing for that as well. So we're going to cut this off. I've actually measured this out already. And this is, now where have I put my tape measure? As I jiggle the camera, 1 second. This is, cutting this out, it is 15 high, so it's 30 in total. Now you want to take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt at the minute, I will explain. And 27.5 or 28 centimeters wide, which is in inches. Does this tape measure not have inches? Oh my gosh. I know, you know what, I never realized that before. This is from one of my advent calendar unboxings and it doesn't have inches on it. That is just a little bit useless, really. I didn't even realize that. I could have mentioned that in my video. 1 second, let me get another tape measure that has inches, because I want to be able to relay that as I throw everything on the floor. 1 second, bear with me. It was from the advent calendar, yeah. Right, so I think it was from, I'm gonna have to watch that video again, maybe I can see it on the video. I think it was from the Prim one. So it is about 6 inches high, and again you can do this any measurements you want, by 11 wide, okay? So I'm going to cut that out. The other thing I have done is I have drawn, I don't know if you can see, there's a very pale pink line there. I've drawn another line which is 2 inches from the outside line, okay, 5 centimeters. So I'm gonna, this is my inside crotch line, my inside leg line, and then this is my outside leg seam. I'm keeping the outside leg seam, I'm gonna use that. So I'm going to cut along those lines that I drew earlier, cutting through both layers. You would probably want to use a rotary cutter when you do this yourself, if you can. But I'm not going to presume you have one because this is a great beginner project. I've already cut this bottom edge, so I'm just going to cut along that outer edge, that line that I've drawn, and I'm cutting through both layers. Because this is a pencil case, it doesn't have to be super duper accurate. It's nice to be as accurate as you can, but you know, we're not going to stress too much about that. Definitely want to get rid of that super chunky seam. We don't want that. And you know, out of a pair of jeans, you could definitely get, I reckon you could get 3 or 4 pencil cases, especially if you made them skinnier as well. Okay, so then I'm going to cut the top layer back on that 2 inches line. Okay. Okay, so we are going to discard that. We could use that for a scrap for something else. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to get our zipper that we've put the pull on. Which is the end with the pull on. Right. Then we're going to put it face down. And you can use double-sided tape if you want. I do love a bit of double-sided tape. I'm not going to, because I'm going to show you that it is possible without double-sided tape. And I'm going to move the camera over to the machine so we can see the actual stitching process. Just going to change over my foot as well, because we want to have a zipper foot. Bear with me while I rejig the camera. Dawn says, I found a freebie for making doll shorts using the bottom and side seam of jeans. Oh, that's brilliant. Yes, please do send it to me. Now, the thing that I always, not always, but often forget when I'm doing this is to move the needle over. So, top tip, don't forget to do that, because you will break your needle, your machine will hate you, and you'll be very angry with yourself. Okay, let's see if we can... One of these days I will have a camera that comes down from the ceiling onto the machine, and it will be so brilliant. Right. It's that sweet spot between making sure the camera can see and me not being in the way of the camera. Right, so I'm going to lengthen my stitch because I am basting this on. Okay, and I'm basting it about 1/8 of an inch, 2 millimeters from the edge. Sometimes, because there's not much traction, it doesn't like to go, so that's fine. Sometimes we give it a little bit of an oomph to start with, especially when we're basting. The other thing is, because the jeans are pretty stable, although I think there is a bit of stretch in these, we don't need to, you know, worry too much about the double-sided tape. But again, you can use double-sided tape if you want to. Do love the sound. It's one of my favourite sounds, Jane, of scissors cutting fabric. The zips are so pretty. Do you sell them? I don't sell them at the moment. Actually, I forget where I got this one from. But I will be selling some very cool zippers on Sewing Street when I'm next on in January. I have got some really awesome zippers on in there. Now, the other thing is, I didn't mention, don't know if you noticed, but I haven't cut my zipper yet. My zipper is still really, really long. I haven't cut it. My zipper pulls up here. What we're going to do then, let's move back across to here. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to get our lining, which I have pre-cut, to the same dimensions. Okay, and we're lining that on top, we're laying that on top. exactly along that same edge, butting up those raw edges. The other thing as well, because this is a quick project, I haven't interfaced, sorry, the lining or the outer. You don't always have to. You know, that pencil case was from when I was 14. I won't say how many years ago that was. It's quite a few. And it's held up pretty well. If it's an everyday bag, then yes. But for something like this, I think it's totally fine not to interface, but if you want it to be sturdier and have a bit more structure, then go ahead and interface it. That's all good as well. So we're keeping our zipper foot on. This time we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I always do a 1/4 inch on my zippers. I want to make sure my stitch is down to a 2.5 because it is a cotton. Your stitch lengths will vary. I believe this is a 2.5 millimeter. Sometimes, can you see I'm pulling the thread to help it through as well. Dawn says, what date for Sewing Street show, as I need to order 2 of your sewing planner notebooks. Oh, it's on the, do you know what, I haven't lined that, it's gone a bit awry, so I'm just going to redo that edge while I say. It's on the 8th of January, Sunday the 8th I'm on. Look, see, that is why, double-sided tape, if you have it, it is good, because I wouldn't have done that with double-sided tape. But you know what, it's fine. I just rejig it. I've not even done pins either, have I? Come on, machine. What have we got going on here? There we go. I'm going to pull that zipper out of the way. I'm going to pull back the camera as well. Yes, if you watched the my advent calendar unboxing, the what should I say? Some people might not have opened it. There's a product in there which I'll be taking on to Sewing Street. I think most people have opened their advent calendars. Oh no, but if Hillary's still watching, I know she's opening it on Christmas Day. That's all right, Dawn, don't worry. Cast off. I've got a knotting machine, so it kind of does it automatically. And then at this point, I'm going to then put the zipper. Let's move back to here so you can see a bit better. So I've attached both the lining and the outer to one side of the zipper. And then what we could do, we've still got our teeth attached there. What we could do is we could top stitch that, but we can top stitch it after. I'm going to take off those, do I want to take off those teeth? No, I want to keep those in there for now. So you do want to, if you haven't put those in, you know, attach them back, you want to make sure they're attached for now. And my zipper pull is right the way down here, off. It is still loads left of the zip tape. You want to make sure you don't pull it off the zip tape, but you want to pull it clear of that bottom edge. And then we're going to line up the other, oops, sorry, we're going to line up the other side, the other top. Now this is why it's important to keep those teeth aligned so that you are matching up the other side. I'm hoping this is going to make sense. And you want to place it right sides together so the zipper is right side down to the outer fabric. I'm going to grab a pin. And I'm just going to pop a pin in there, like so that I know that's in the right place. And then I'm going to stitch all the way along that edge. And again, I'm basting it. Okay. Hilly says, I'm still awake but keep dozing off. You can talk about the advent calendar, I won't remember. Oh, thank you. Right, so now, because of how we're stitching it, oh, sorry, that's no help, is it? Because of how we're stitching it, we are going to sew from the same direction. Now, normally you might flip it around so that the zipper foot sort of lines up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the needle across instead. So I'm going to move it over to the other side, and again I'm basting, so I'm going to put that thread out long, put that down, and I'm going to lengthen my stitch to the longest length, which for me is a 6. Hopefully it's not going to get caught. I could have done myself a bit of favour and gave myself some longer thread. There we go. See, I'm pulled it through. You don't want to yank it through because your machine will not thank you for that. The teeth are still aligned up the top there, okay? So kept them attached. And we just want to keep going all the way along. Cast off. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And then what we're going to do is we want to get our lining again, and we're going to place that on top, right side down. Sorry, I'm just going to take it off camera sec so I can rejig it so it's not folded over. Okay, so we've just done that baseline. We're then going to place that right side down on top, and we're going to sew that with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to take my stitch length down to a 2.5 again. I'm making sure that the under pieces are all out the way. I don't want to catch anything. I'm just sewing through the outer fabric, the zipper, and the lining on that edge. Give myself a little bit of thread so I can pull it through should I need to. Make sure that's all lined up. Should just use a pin, shouldn't I? Why don't I make my life a bit easier? Oh, and if you could please hit the like button, that really helps other people to find these tutorials and tells YouTube that it's something to show other people. So that would be super helpful if you could do that while you're watching, please. You notice I went over that pin. You can go over pins as long as you go nice and slow. As long as you don't go crazy, it's all good. Again, this is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm helping it through a little because unless you're using a walking foot, you can help it through a little bit, but you have to be very careful not to kind of yank it through the machine. The timing will go, your machine will be unhappy. So it's a little bit sort of about knowing the tension. But if your machine's going, if it's going through the machine fine, you don't need to do that anyway. Okay, cast off. Now this is the magical bit. Because we've got this super long tail, like I say, I think there's about 1.5 meters of zipper. Let me move us back to the table and I'm going to show you why I've done that and the benefits of it. Okay, so we've got our zipper in there. It's all kind of a bit folded in. If I open the zipper up, obviously you want to make sure you don't pull it all the way off. still got loads and loads left. I'd say as long as you've got sort of 3/4 of a metre, something like that, you can do that with the, you can do this technique. Then we're going to turn the whole thing the right way out. Because it's a really long zipper, it can lay completely flat. You see that? So then what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch both sides of our zipper. So to do that, I'm going to head over to my walking foot. Let's pop back here. The baninas are the easiest to pop the walking feet and the change of the feet over, which is super helpful. I do have a genome, and when I'm on Sewing Street I use an Elna, and you have to unscrew the walking feet each time, and it's really annoying. Whereas with Banina, that's definitely a good thing about Banina, is that they just kind of clip on. Okay, so then we're going to top stitch, like I say. So for top stitching, I am going to do a number 3 stitch length. I'm going to move my foot right over, it's still right over from when I did the zipper, move my stitch length up to a 3, and I'm going to sew along. It's going to do a cast on stitch because my machine does that if I cast off and then cast on. I'm just teasing the fabric and the zipper out so that it's even as I go along. And I didn't do this step on my prototype, I must admit, and it definitely adds an extra layer of, you know, professional finish. So this is right sides together. Cast off. Okay, can you see that? I'm going to do the other side now. And if you'd have cut your zipper to size, you wouldn't have been able to have done this, because you wouldn't be able to sort of get to this bit. So that's why it's a really nice technique to leave your zipper really long. We are going to cut it off, obviously, but at this stage just gives you a bit of a helping hand to do that. Cast off. Okay, so we've got those 2 edges top stitched. Cut off those threads. Move across. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it the wrong way out. So we're just going to reach through, pull that zipper tape all the way out as well. You can see I've got meters of it. And then I'm going to pull my zipper so that it's actually on the inside, so that it's tucked where it needs to be. I'm going to reach through. Don't want to pull it off the end, because that end is still open, so you have to be really careful. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to pull it up so it's really near the end, and I'm going to feed those teeth back in, just like we did before. It's going to help us line everything up, keep it all nice and aligned. Okay, can you see, like that? I'm going to pull that zipper back a bit. If we don't do this, when we come to sew it all up, we may find that there's a bit of a blip. Can you see that those ends are not, you know, the same? They're not the same length. So it's important to make sure that's nicely lined up, so that when we stitch it all together, it goes together really nicely. Now obviously, because I'm talking through each step, this is taking a little bit of time, but if you get everything ready and line it all up, this will take not very long at all. Right, at this stage we can cut off our zipper. So I'm going to grab my special bonsai scissors for that. Don't use your good scissors on your zipper tape. You want to just double check that the zipper pull is inside your bag, your pencil case. Cut that off. So now it is the correct length. Okay, now you could burn the end if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it for this project. Okay, so you've got this sort of inside out pencil case at the minute, and it's a little bit kind of strange. You've got this, you see the seam from our jeans? That's still there. And that is going to help us. If you don't have a seam and you've just used 2 rectangles, I will measure it in a second and tell you what it is. Now, so what I've done is I've folded it along that seam. Then we've got the lining on the top. It's both, they're all right sides together, but they're right sides to themselves, not right side of lining to right side of outer fabric. Does that make sense? And I'm folding it along how it wants to lie, following that seam, and then it will naturally, if you've gone with the jean edge, the jean seam, it's going to naturally lie how it wants to lie. If you haven't, I'm going to measure that for you so you know where to fold it. So it's going to end up as being 5 inches tall, which is, what's that, it's about 12 and a half, isn't it, tall, and it is still 11 inches long, isn't it, because it's the same that we cut it earlier, so that's obviously not changed. Okay, so we've folded it and we've got them laying kind of ready to go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our zipper, actually we don't need to do that yet, we're going to stitch along one side 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch from the edge, and we're sewing through the lining and the outer. Okay, so I'll move over to the machine. Oh, not again. Go away, strange gremlins. We don't like you. Leaving random comments. Pretty sure that's not the video for those comments. Right, so I'm going to move the camera up a bit if I can, so you can get a better view. Thanks, Dawn. I think unless I remove it, it probably takes Facebook forever to do anything. Facebook, YouTube, forever to do anything about it. Right, so this end is the one with the zipper teeth attached, fed into each other. I am going with the fold. The fold is down here, so everything is aligned. I don't want it 5 over, I want it 3 over, because I know that that is 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch. And I'm sewing all the way along through all those layers. All the way along, cast off. Now, when it comes to the other side, first of all, let me pull back a bit more space. First of all, you want to make sure that your zipper is open, okay? So we're going to reach in, pull open that zipper. So it's almost at the end. We do not want to pull it off the end of the zipper, okay? But you definitely want it to be open. And then this is the bit that's important. You want to pull the lining out of the way, okay? You want to make sure that the outer is nicely lined up with that edge seam, or if you've measured it, you want to make sure that that's lying to the correct measurements on the fold. And then I'm going to stitch up to the beginning of the zipper, okay? Same seam allowance, 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch. Going to finish just before that zipper, or on that zipper. Okay, so I've done that line there. Hopefully you can see, because it's a different colour thread. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my lining, make sure it's all nicely lined up. I might need to push my zipper a wee bit out of the way. Don't want to close it too much. And I'm going to lay that over the top, and I'm going to stitch again over the top of where I've just sewn, exactly over the top. I have got a little bit of discrepancy here. Can you see that? I've got about 1/2 centimetre, but that's okay. I've still got some seam allowance. And I'm just going to stitch about 1 inch at the bottom. Then I'm going to cast off. Then I'm going to start again where the zipper starts. Okay, so this edge of the zipper, I'm starting again. It's kind of just about 1 millimetre before, and I'm sewing over the zipper, nice and slow, through all the layers. Go backwards and forwards and cast off. Okay, so it will look like that. Now I'm going to move over to here. Then we're going to cut off our corners. Oops. Help if I showed you, wouldn't it? Cut off the other corner. Cut off the top corner. And the top corner. Then, let's get rid of those. We want to reach through. Now I might not have left myself too much room. We're going to reach through and we're going to turn the whole thing through that hole. This is why you need to have that zipper open, because that's going to help you in this bit. I have left myself not too much room, so let's see how we go. Might be a bit tricky to turn. When I used to make for craft fairs and things like that, I would batch sew a whole load of stuff, and then when something that was on the TV that I wanted to watch, I would do all these like fiddly bits, the turning bits. I'd just sit in front of the telly and do it all in one go. So I'm pulling it all the way out. You see, because I had that zipper open, that's you know, helping me quite a lot. Push out all those corners. I want to get that hole, the turning hole, so I can feel through and push out those corners. You could use a point turner as well if you want to. And we are nearly there. The other thing, when these corners are a bit hard to get to, is very carefully I use a pin, a large pin that won't bend. A dressmaker's pin, you know, just a bit. They're not sturdy enough. And I'm gently teasing out the fabric. With jeans, that's totally fine. You're not going to pull the threads out. If you've got this, or you're trying to do this on a quilting cotton, depending on the thickness or the weight, it could be a bit tricky. So just bear that in mind. You don't want to make a hole. So do this with caution, I would say. And there we go. Can you believe that? That was quite quick, wasn't it? Now I've taken about, what was that, about 35 minutes doing that live. Doing this yourself at home, you're going to be a lot quicker. And what's quite fun, I've got those threads there from the turning hole. Obviously you would then reach through and you would sew up that hole. Where's that hole gone? You would reach through and sew up that hole. You can machine sew that. No one's going to be like, oh, she hasn't hand sewed that bit. You know, honestly, most people don't, and this really shocked me, but most people don't even, if they buy something and there's a raw edge, if they don't know anything about sewing, they will just think that's normal, which was pretty shocking when I found that out from someone that bought something and they had a raw edge, and I was like, this shouldn't be like this. And they were like, oh, really? I had no idea. So yeah, there is our pencil case. I'm going to pop over to the other camera. Let's do, oh, sorry. Da, 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 da. There we go. Move the camera out the way. So there is our pencil case. Super quick with that technique. Needs a bit of a press, as you can see, because there's a few lines in there. What I thought would be really cool as for like a tween gift is if you made this and then you gave them some graffiti pens, like fabric pens, and then they could do this kind of thing. They can graffiti it all over, make it their own, put their name on it, that kind of thing. That would be a really fun gift. You could even put the graffiti pens inside as a complete gift. Sandra says, I've just this minute finished cutting the paper pattern for the colouring caddy. Woohoo! Any idea when the video will be posted? Hoping to make 2 by Christmas. Yes, I'm filming the video tomorrow, Sandra. After this live, I'm going to watch Traitors, which you need to watch if you haven't watched, because there's another episode tonight. And then I'm going to prep everything so that I'm ready to film tomorrow. I'm hoping to get it up maybe Tuesday next week, so it won't be long. Jane said, Dawn says, love it. Jane says, love it. Jane says, great idea. Need to make some of these. I hope you do. If you do please post them in the Facebook group Sew Create and Craft, or if you are a club member of the 77 Club, please do post in our private group as well. I really hope you've loved this tutorial. I will be back here next Thursday for another full make. So I hope to see you then. Any questions, comments at all, please do pop them in the comments box below. And like I say, I really love to see what you make, so please do share them with me or tag me on Instagram as well. I'm at Studio77. Have a great evening all. Thank you so much. Bye.